everybody, Geoff Hyland here with the Hyland Group eXp Realty in Prescott, Arizona. This is your November 2024 market update. It's actually election day, so happy election day.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So exciting time here for us. This month we're going to do it a little bit differently. I'm joined by Shay Heron, who's the COO of our company here at the Hyland Group, and we're just going to have a little bit more of an interactive format for your market update this month, kind of go through some of the numbers. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely appreciate it. So one of the things that we looked at that I was kind of surprised with is the number of pending homes that actually went under contract in October. We felt it here on the team as well. We were able to put 41 homes under contract in the month of October, which was great for our little team here. But then on the market as well, kind of remarkable, there was an actual 35% increase in terms of the number of homes that went under contract in the month of October 2024 compared to 2023. Now, when we sat down and did business planning with all of our agents early on in the year, I was asking them to try and have 80% of their production done by the end of September, because historically in my career, ahead of a presidential election cycle, the market tends to slow down a little bit. And we didn't really quite see that slow down as much as anticipated. In fact, there's an argument that obviously by the numbers, it was stronger than last year for some reason. So I don't know if that's just, consumers are just ready for this to be over, and here it is, right?
Tired of waiting, tired of being on the sidelines.
Yep, exactly. So really good there. As far as values are concerned, kind of, a little bit all across the board. Prescott actually saw about a 3% decrease in values. Prescott Valley shot up about 3%. Chino Valley, moderate 1.5% gain. MLS wide, it's, about minus 1.75% overall for the month. So again, if you look at year over year median pricing, we're pretty much in the same spot that we are. I fielded a phone call from a buyer this morning actually, and they were like, hey, we're seeing all these price reductions, and it looks like if we just hang on, the market is coming down. And I kind of slowed them down a little bit, and I said, so tell me what you mean by that. One of the things that they brought up is, well, we're looking at listings all the time, and it seems like a lot of them out there are reducing their price. And that's true.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I was letting them know about is that you got to be careful looking at what actual values are doing, which is the pending and sold properties, versus what's active on the market. So for example, right now in November 1st, 1,009 properties on the market. So that's a
lot.
It's a lot. I mean, historically, it's higher than what we're accustomed to. To say it's a lot, when you look at the demand, it's only a 4.5 month supply.
Right.
And, I've said this many, many times here on this update, but, a normal market, 6 month supply.
Right.
Right. So
it's just more than we've had on the market for the last, 4 or 5 years.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So we're seeing levels that we haven't seen since like 2016. So it's great for buyers because there's lots to choose from. Now, when you look at the properties that are active on the market, they have been on the market an average now of 118 days. So the progression continues. That days on market continues to go up a little bit. And when you look at their pricing, they are averaging 14.5% higher in terms of a price per square foot or average sales price or listing price versus or relative to the average home in our MLS that's selling. So again, there's a direct correlation with pricing. 118 days on the market, 14.5% over what things are selling for, whereas the days on market for those homes that sold last month is averaging MLS wide at 71 days. So that is ticking up a little bit. I mean, we've been kind of watching the progression, right? Like 55, 60, 65, now we're at 70 days or so. So we'll continue to keep you apprised on that. As far as the inventory breakdown is concerned, roughly half of the inventory is in Prescott. Okay, Prescott zip codes. You got about 215 in Prescott Valley and about 100 or so in the Chino Valley marketplace, and then the rest is kind of in our ancillary areas. Now, interest rates. Not a whole lot of good news necessarily to report in terms of the interest rates, right?
Yeah. Not going the direction we want them to.
Yeah, so, I think it was like 30, 45 days ago, the interest rates were right at like 6.1.
Right.
That was just ahead of that Fed announcement when they actually reduced the rates by 50 basis points. And then everybody's, asking like, I don't understand. The Fed reduced the rates, like, why are they going up? And that's exactly what they've done. So as we turned into November, interest rates are now back up at about 7.1%.
Yeah.
So a good reminder, for everybody is that the interest rates, yes, they're a little higher than what anybody I think would like to see right now. Latest speculation is that we probably are going to see those rates come down Now they're kind of saying, hey, early 2025.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, and so, remember, you date the rate, but you marry the property. So if you're a buyer out there and you're kind of teeter-tottering, you're on the fence, maybe you're waiting for the election. My gosh, I'm so ready for this to be over, because there's been a lot of people that have been saying, hey, I want to see what happens with the election. Whether they're sellers, whether they're buyers, doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. People are just, I think, ready for this to be over. But I do think we're going to see some relief with interest rates in the not too distant future. And again, I think the overarching advantage that buyers have right now is just there's a lot more options to choose from than they're accustomed to. And so we had, like I said, we had a really busy month in October, and a lot of our buyers are saying that they were pleasantly surprised, because in some cases they made offers on properties, and if it didn't work out, they were able to go to number 2, and in some case number 3, until they found the right fit with a seller.
Yep, yeah, exactly. You were also sharing with our team about how if you're a buyer and you're wanting to target one of those homes that is overpriced, that's been on the market for a while, maybe had a couple of reductions, like what would you say the threshold of time on market would be for you to start asking your agent, hey, do you think we could offer a little under asking to try to get a better deal on this house?
Well, I think it just goes back to making sure that you're working with a really knowledgeable agent, right? And so we talk a lot about that internally here on the team, because I just want to make something clear. If a property comes up on the market and it's like, just as an example, walking distance to the downtown courthouse square, and it's like the quintessential little cottage, on Mount Vernon or something like that, and it hits the market today, and you go, oh, I watched this thing that Geoff said, the average inventory is 14.5% overpriced. Right. If you go in there and offer 14% under, you're probably going to be met with a lot of resistance, right? So I think working with like a really knowledgeable agent, a really knowledgeable team that's moving a lot of properties is going to be able to guide you through some of those nuances. But generally speaking, the average home right now that's going under contract is taking about 70 days. So if you see a property that's been on the market for 120, 140, 160 days, it's kind of on the cusp of maybe even expiring from that listing contract. Yeah. It's very possible that they might be overpriced. Yeah. And then you have to look in, kind of the secondary level, like, okay, well, how long has it been on the market? That's the first thing. Second, like, have they done a price reduction, right? Have they done 2 price reductions? Right. And then your agent should be asking questions of that other agent, like, hey, I'm just kind of curious, maybe we're in the running on 2 or 3 different properties. Like, what's the interest level? Have you had any offers on the property? Like, tell me what's going on. What's the biggest objection? So some of those questions, depending on the agent on the other side, they might, give up some real valuable tidbits to help you craft your offer and get the best possible price and terms. One other thing that we discovered this week too is we had an agent on the team, and there was a property where the seller had indicated originally, like, hey, we're not wanting to compensate a buyer's broker. And what happened there is they went ahead and made the offer anyways, and they asked that seller to pay, the agent that we're representing the buyer, to compensate them. And it was met with 0 resistance, and they paid it no problems. Now, they were on the market for 150 days, but they were ready. Right, so some of those nuances, as well, are something to kind of take a look at. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that is that's the market update for November 2024. Like I said, hope you went out there and exercised your right to vote today, and we'll look forward to checking in with you again next month. Thanks for tuning in.